But
that was a sick tour, man. It was only like 5 days, but we managed to get it in before like the sort of restrictions came back in. So
yeah.
played full capacity, but yeah, it was sick.
How does it weigh up playing venues like that compared to, say, like, you know, obviously the festival season you did, the kind of the weird sort of festival season of last year? How do those kind of shows compare?
I love both, man. I just love playing shows, to be honest. Like, it's a totally different vibe at headline shows, because at festivals, not everyone is there to see you. A lot of people don't know who you are, or maybe they're curious. So there's always that trying to win people over kind of vibe. But headline shows are obviously everyone's there to see you, and we haven't headlined since, I can't remember, it was the Uprising tour, whenever that was, like 2013.
Wow.
So that was the first sort of headline tour since then. So it was pretty mad to have everyone coming out and seeing you, because you don't know how many people are going to actually show up, but the whole tour sold out. So it was comforting to know that there was people who still care and stuff. So
yeah, because I think
totally
something
different vibe, but
yeah, like something I didn't realize until sort of partly chatting to you once or twice, and then actually sort of looking into the band more, is that you guys have been a band for quite a long time. And I think maybe people don't realize, again, I think it might be an example of when people kind of go, oh, they've just come out of nowhere. It's like, no, they haven't, you know. Like,
been a band for like 16 years now, man.
Yeah.
We're all getting old. We're old guys now, man. We're all in our 30s. Apart from Stephen, he's a young one. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, just because we've only kind of got, like I say, successful, like we're still got a mountain to climb, but a lot of people are taking notice since Fracture came out, like way more than they did before. And our first two albums are currently being taken off the internet because of like a legal battle with the first label. So people think we only have like 3 albums, but we've actually got 5, and this is the 6th album that's coming out. So
do you think there's anything about the last album that could you kind of put your finger on why that jumped out and why so many people latched onto it?
I don't know, man. I think maybe the sort of lockdown and pandemic had something to do with it, and people were more focused on new releases, and because there wasn't anything else to do, there's no distractions, I guess. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Or
that's a very self-deprecating way to. Oh, I guess people had nothing better to do, so you know.
We have been a band for such a long time, so we've been building up that sort of core fan base, and like people stick around with us, luckily. So we're very appreciative of that. So
is it difficult to kind of keep going in the times where I'm guessing there are ups and downs to being a band that long? Do you kind of, I suppose there are probably a lot of challenges that maybe people don't see on the surface, especially now that, like you said, you're sort of finding some real tangible success with some of this stuff. Are there any particular challenges that kind of came up? Like, were there any points where it's like, oh, this is hard work now? Like,
yeah, 100%, man. Because
I wouldn't ask you to reveal any like inner band fights and stuff, but you know.
We are the worst, like, because we're all 5 of us are so opinionated, and like no one's scared to show their opinion. So there's a lot of arguments going on. Just especially me and Ali, because we've been the sort of core writers since the beginning, and me and him butt heads all the time. But like we both know it's not personal, and we're doing it for the good of the music and the good of the band. So we know
we're good.
We're not going to fall out over it, you know. We have our little lovers tiffs, but we're usually good. But like in between, sort of before we signed to Century Media, before Era came out, there was a time where we didn't know. Sorry, before Uprising came out, we didn't know if we were actually going to still be a band. We almost split up because we were in so much debt, and there was just sort of no morale and stuff. So that was a sort of hard period, but we just kept writing songs, and we sort of believed in the songs, and we just kept going. And I think that's the main thing, is that we just kept at it, and we never thought we'd be back at where we are now, but we are, and it's great.
Now you got fire.
Exactly.
What could be better?
Aye.
Yeah,
setting tenors on fire, mate. That's what we're doing.
You what?
Setting £10 notes on fire. Expensive that shit.
It's like when people do the videos with the $1, you know, the $1 notes, throwing them out the window. You're like, all right, cool.
That's basically.
I suppose it's not as easy to do in England. Even a fiver is like, nah, give it back. Like, is so with the writing, something that I found interesting that I always try and latch onto myself, and I think a lot of people try to, and I'm not saying I do it any more successfully, I'm just saying a lot of people try to do this, is like balancing that complexity of, especially with modern metal, complexity of the riff and the ideas, or just a chord progression, with like that thing that you remember, like that kind of that little melody line that just pops out. I think it's something that like I find interesting about your music is that there'll be a riff and you'll be tapping away, or you'll be like visibly like jumping around a lot, but it still kind of sticks in your head. And I think like, is that something you consciously think about? I suppose maybe not consciously, but is it something that you're aware of when you're writing, is like finding that balance between, I want someone to like bob their head and be able to hum this riff, and I want it to satisfy my like guitar player nerd kind of creative side of things. Do you find that balance?
Definitely, man. It's definitely a conscious decision, like putting those sort of weird moments, I'd call it, that are people are gonna remember, but also trying to also write a song that is catchy and people are gonna remember, and try to keep the sort of the guitarists happy, I guess. Just using sort of techniques and stuff that people are just gonna be like, oh, that's a bit weird. But like for instance, the riff and Fall Away with the whammy bar stuff, like that's just one of those moments. Just let's just get weird for a bit, but still try and write a song around it. But yeah, it's definitely a conscious decision to do that.
Yeah. Have you listened to Avatar?
No, not a band I've really dived.
Oh, they're wicked. They've got a song with similar kind of vibe. They're a bit more like whammy bar heavy on that. Like the riff is basically, it's not, you can't do it without you can't. Yeah, you couldn't even touch it without a whammy bar. But like it is cool trying to find that. I think that balance is something that I think we're maybe teetering on the complexity side of things more so than I would lean towards with some modern music now, and I think that's finding that balance is so tricky, because as a guitarist, like you wanna satisfy your own like.
Yeah, but you also still want to be able to play it live, which is difficult sometimes. Like there's a riff on the new album that I have no idea how I'm going to play it. I'm going to have to learn at some point.
Do you do that thing where like you're writing and learning your own riffs at the same time because they're tricky?
100%, man. But I try not to worry about, am I going to be able to play this live when you're writing it? Just let's just record it, and if it sounds good, put it on the album, and we'll worry about it later. Yeah. I'm not at that stage yet, so I'm not worried yet.
Yeah, we'll burn that bridge when you get to it.
Exactly.
That's the phrase, I think.
Something like that.
Is there's something I found interesting is because I'm not much of a like tapping kind of person. I don't do much of that. I don't know why. There's something about it for me. It just never quite worked. But I really like the it's End of All We Know. You start with, there's some tapping kind of stuff in that intro, right? Is there anything is it like a Van Halen thing, or is that like is it more the modern bands that inspired that kind of side of your playing? Or
I think it's kind of Lamb of God sort of style. Not so much the tapping, and they don't do like a bunch of tapping, but those sort of notes. Like I don't know any theory or scales or anything. I just kind of play what sounds good, and I learned to play by just learning songs that I like, which started with like Lamb of God albums. I just learn Lamb of God albums start to finish. So I think a lot of the notes I use and stuff come from them. So I think it's kind of inspired by that, not consciously. It just kind of happens. But the tapping things, like you said, just about putting something in that kind of looks good as well, and just a bit weird and a bit different. Just for the sake of it.
No, that's I can totally understand the I can hear the Lamb of God. To be fair, is that have you played with them, or am I thinking of?
Yeah, we did like 3 or 4 shows with them a few summers ago.
That was that a bit of a like starstruck kind of moment?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. But
what's Randy like?
Oh, he's the best, man. He was like in our dressing room hanging out every night. But he's got some old friends from the village that I'm from. It's a pretty small village, like no one knows about it, but he's been there loads. He spent loads of time there, so we kind of bonded over that.
That's really I know. How has he got that? How is that connection? How does he?
I don't know. Have you seen the Philadelphia DVD when he's like wearing the kilt, and it's when he was drinking back then? And no, it's the bunch of guys he's hanging out with. It's those guys are all from the village I'm from.
So what's what is there kind of like a noticeable difference between growing up in, say, Scotland versus England in terms of the music scene? Is it noticeably different? Do you get like a different response over there? Over there, obviously for you it's over here. For me, it's over there.
Yeah, I think the Glasgow crowds are definitely.
You can say better.
I'm not going to say better. I'd say infamous, because we've got the HWFG chant, the Here We Fucking Go chant.
Oh, okay.
that was originated in Glasgow. I was actually reading an article about that recently, about how it started in Tea in the Park, apparently. I don't know.
Is that what makes news in Scotland?
Exactly. That's pretty much what goes on here. But
nice.
The Glasgow crowds are pretty special, man. Like, anyone will tell you that if you've ever been to Glasgow or been to a show in Glasgow, man, you'll know what I mean.
Is it anything like, you know, as say an English band going there? Is it something do you have to kind of meet a standard, if you like, or are they just welcoming, full stop?
Everybody just wants to go on a night out and get drunk and have a good time. So if you're there with good vibes and you want to have a good time, man, then people are gonna have a good time, you know.
Well, that's the impression I got from when I met you and Scott at Download. It's like you guys come straight out and just like meet everyone and join in with the energy, and that was a great.
Yeah, we were a few pints deep at that point, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I had a free hand most of that weekend. I think
that was like the first weekend out after lockdown. I think lockdown was still kind of going on.
I was going to say it was the first weekend still in lockdown, pretty much.
Yeah. So everybody was pretty just excited to be around other people. But it was weird being around other people because you just weren't allowed for a year and a half.
Yeah, I kind of I was a bit not nervous, but I was interested to see like how were people gonna behave, because I was one of the civilians, so I was out with all the drunkards, myself being one, and I remember like the first night kind of going and getting absolutely trashed, and then I sort of fell out my tent the next morning, so glorious. This is what I want.
Like, backstage is the same, mate. Everybody's just equally as drunk. And
did you any favourite acts from that weekend in particular?
It was good to see While She Sleeps Boys again.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah.
Conjurer, they were on right before us, so I didn't get to watch the full set because I was too nervous. I was just pacing up and down, too nervous to enjoy it. But Conjurer, one of my kind of favourite UK bands at the moment, so it was good to see them. I didn't actually see much other bands, to be honest. I was too busy just catching up with people, and I seen a bit of Creeper, I think, in the tent.
Yeah, they're cool. The I do remember Bloodstock. No, I remember your Download set. I remember being by my tent and hearing you start with Night Crossing, right? Is that if I remember just hearing that, like, fuck, run. Like, you know, I'm just sure you had that moment where you're like, oh, they're on. Oh no. So I was hearing that louder and louder as I got to the stage.
The tents are like way closer than they are usually.
Yeah, it was nowhere near as far. Like, you could hear it.
An hour walk to get usually.
Yeah. So no, that was. What did you make of that? Like, was that weekend? Was it a weird experience, like, with the way COVID was and that, or did it feel kind of normal? Or?
Definitely weird, man. Like, going on, because we were on pretty early, and it was the first show we'd played in a year and a half, and it was just an odd feeling. Like, we all felt like we played really badly, but everyone was like, no, it was great, but we felt like we played awful, but we just got through it. And like, we had a new sort of in-ear system and stuff, and we weren't sure if it was going to work, and there was like white noise playing in our ears until 30 seconds before we started, and then everything worked. So it was a nightmare before it. We were all so nervous, and then the show was amazing, but we felt that we played terrible. But everyone loved it, and it was just good vibes, pretty much. So
I don't know about you, but like, I get nervous. I can, because, you know, if you mess up like a heavy riff, a couple of chugs and a little bit of a slide, and you're back into the next section can be okay. If you mess up like a clean part, I don't know if you get nervous for particular parts in your songs.
Oh yeah, man! Like Afterlife, the start of Afterlife is just me playing a sort of clean part, and I mess that up all the fucking time. Like, and I have to get it perfect because it's just me and there's no other focus. And I think that's in my head, and I'm constantly in my head like, you're gonna fuck this up, you're gonna fuck this up.
Do you get in your own head much when you're playing?
Yeah, I think it's kind of muscle memory now, because we've done a couple of tours, and once you've been playing for a while, it just kind of comes naturally and you don't really think about it. But yeah, like that first show back at Download, it was like trying to remember how to play things and staring at your fretboard, but also try to perform and have a good time was difficult.
It's a really tricky balance to find. I think, like, it's like switching off, but not quite. You know, I've had moments where there's a riff and I know it's just me, and I'm kind of sort of staring into space, like, oh, I'm playing, like, you know, like I'm still playing, I'm still doing it fine, and then you have that moment like, oh, people are watching me. No, I'm not watching anyone else right now.
Yeah, we're quite lucky. We have quite a good drummer, so and he doesn't fuck up a lot. So as long as he's all right, then the rest is we can fuck up and no one will notice too much.
Have you? So I mean, obviously, Ali is a ridiculous drummer. Have you? Have you been in previous bands before Bleed From Within where you've worked with? I'm guessing you were working with other drummers. Is he like? Does it affect your playing in a positive way to have someone like him
Oh, yeah,
behind you?
100%. Because
Yeah.
he's like this level of drummer, and I feel like I'm down here, so you have to try and like get on his level almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you know you're safe. Whatever you write, like
Oh yeah, whatever I program he can play. I genuinely try and make it difficult for him sometimes, just to challenge him, but he always smashes it. So
it's better. It's better that way around than like I always try and over complicate it rather than under because you can always take back, but trying to add something in can be really tricky. I find like trying to bring something out of nothing can be difficult. But if you've made this really complicated part, you could at least go, okay, like that. Let's just half that, like
yeah,
or
Ali's
something.
really good at not overplaying. He'll
Yeah, I
do
think
what
so.
like exactly needs done for the part, and nothing more, nothing less. He'll get it like perfect.
Yeah, I
He doesn't
notice how
spend too
much.
much.
Yeah, I notice he likes a stomp,
Yeah,
which is it sounds like the Pantera kind of influence. Is that right?
yeah.
Or
We did that Deathwalk EP, and that's the first time we sort of did that, like the four to the floor,
mm.
and I think we've did it on like every album since. And there's loads of it in the new album, and I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you meant okay. Yeah, no, that's it. What it's just like I think bands are falling back on that in a way now. Like, as in I think it fell out of fashion a little bit, and now, like maybe a few years ago, and now bands are going like, no, it just works. Like, why would you not?
It makes riffs heavier, man. I don't know how. It's
Yeah,
just like less is more.
yeah. It's like the space is just. I remember when we were in the studio one time, and I was a little bit disappointed in our drummer, not because of his playing, but because the producer went like, just tell you what, just give it like a Vinnie Paul 4 on the floor, and he went, who? No,
Oh,
no,
that's
out.
blasphemy, man. Blasphemy.
I know, yeah. He's a bit younger than me, so but
Yeah.
even so, I mean, I was barely even alive most of Pantera and Damage Plan, so like I still
Yeah.
know, so it's no
Do you see
excuses.
Vinnie Paul's house went up for sale recently, and all the photos are online?
Yeah, it
It's
looked a bit mad.
mental. There's like a secret sort of cabinet thing in one of the walls.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's in it?
there's nothing in it now, but the
Oh,
house had been emptied, but they'll take in a slidey bookcase thing with a secret room or something.
mad. I feel
Yeah.
like if with a man with a beard like that, you can't be having a normal house. Like,
Hi.
you've got to have secret cabinets and stuff with his fucking tiger stripe beard that he
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, no, but I think did they kind of? It sounds like there's some influence of theirs in in kind of your band as a whole.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that like a
100%, man. That's the first like proper heavy band that I liked. That's definitely one of my guitar heroes, Dimebag, and Ali's like one of his biggest drum influences is Vinnie Paul.
yeah, yeah? I
Uh,
can definitely hear that. Yeah, I think one of the coolest drum parts in metal for me is in Cowboys from Hell. It's when he does a little shuffle. It's almost like he's hesitating, but he's not. I can't remember what part it's in. I'll have to timestamp it for you at some point. But I'm going to do a really neat segue now because Pantera are renowned for their partying and drinking, but you guys have a signature beer, right?
we do.
That was neat.
Nice.
If I didn't point it out, that would have been really clever.
Yes, we do. There's a brewery called Overtone just outside Glasgow, and yes, the second batch has just been done at the end of last year. I think there's still some left.
It's pretty
Um,
strong, right?
yeah, it's 8%, man. So we're not fucking around. It's
Yeah,
really
why
nice. So
bother?
I'm not just saying that like because it's ours. Like I would drink it and enjoy it even if it wasn't ours. But it's a really cloudy, sort of fruity IPA. It's nice.
Is that something if you wanted to do that for a while, or was that just like a spur of the moment? Like, oh, we could do
I
that.
think that's been Ali's biggest goal since we started the bands to have our own beer. This is our second beer actually. We had another
Oh, really?
one when Era came out called Afterlife, a different brewery. So that's Ali's thing. I think he gets more excited about the beers than he does about the songs. To be honest, like that's his thing. He's a
Do,
he's a big beer nerd.
do they come on tour with you, the beers?
Oh yes, we had
Do you
like
sell them? Because I didn't see. I suppose you probably couldn't, could you? It wouldn't be.
no, we tried to get them in some of the venues, but it was pretty hard because they
Yeah.
have like contracts with breweries and stuff. But
Mm.
the Glasgow after party, we had a few cans in the fridge in there, but by the time we packed up and got there, they were already gone. So
Oh, that's sad.
yeah, but we had a
So,
few crates in the bus for the tour, so we had plenty.
what sort of bus are we talking? Because like, are we talking like not megabus. That would be a rubbish tour. But yeah, like
I've actually got a good megabus story to do with the band.
Go on, then.
We were supposed to tour Mexico in like 2017 or something. I can't remember.
Don't tell me there's megabus in Mexico.
We had the flights booked from Heathrow, but we were on the way and didn't have the tickets from the promoter yet. But we got to the bus stop, and it was a megabus. We were getting down to Heathrow, and they just took one look at us with all our stuff and was like, "You're not getting on this bus. Like, there's no room for your guitars and stuff." Like, so the bus just drove off, and that was the Mexico tour cancelled because we couldn't even get on the megabus to London to start.
Oh, so you just didn't do the tour?
No, we just didn't do it.
Oh shit!
I don't think it was a good idea anyway. I don't think the promoter really knew what he was doing at the time. So
that doesn't sound like that starting a tour on a megabus doesn't sound like a sort of a You're not setting yourself up, you know.
Never again. And then a separate occasion, Ali had all his drum hardware stolen from a megabus.
Oh shit!
So yeah, avoid the megabus if you're a band, basically.
I think
we didn't have a megabus in the headline tour. It was an actual tour bus.
Yeah, no, that was more my question. Are they kind of as cozy looking as they seem, or is it still a bit of a cramped, kind of uncomfortable
It's
experience?
definitely cramped, man, but it is good, like, because you travel overnight, so you wake up early in the city, so you've got the whole day in the city to do what you want. It's just easier, and just it's like your little home away from home. And
what did you make of Birmingham?
Loved it, man. Like that area. I hadn't been in that area of Birmingham for about 10 years or something, and I can't believe the difference, man. It's like proper being gentrified. It's really nice.
Basically what's happened. Yeah.
Loads of nice bars and cafes and stuff, man. Cool little.
There's loads of cool stuff. It's weirdly, it's a bit like like Camden kind of. Well, in ways it's quite sort of trendy. Which is a very southern way to put it, but it's gone that kind of way. Is there like an equivalent where you're from? You kind of the equivalent hangout spot?
Yeah, I mean the East End's starting to go that way. It's always been kind of run down and stuff, but recently there's been more and more cool little bars and restaurants and cafes and stuff popping up. So yeah, I think the East End of Glasgow is that sort of the answer to that. Our answer to that.
Yeah. Is there I noticed you seem like quite an outdoorsy person from your Instagram anyway.
This is just a recent thing because of lockdown, because I couldn't go on holiday or go on tour or whatever. So I've just been trying to explore Scotland a bit more. So yeah, it's not a thing I've been doing for a long time, but yeah, it's a recent thing I've discovered. Quite enjoying it.
Oh well, I had a whole half-hour segment on that. Where have you explored? Go on.
Went up to the north coast of Scotland, which was awesome. Skye, the Isle of Skye. Hired like a van, went around there.
Are there parts of Scotland? Are there some of those islands where they only have like 10 or so people on them? Or am I imagining that?
There will be somewhere. Skye's pretty big, but I've not been to like the proper North Islands like Shetland and stuff. But there is like smaller communities, but I'm not too sure. But Skye is awesome, man. If you ever get the chance to go up to Skye,
I've never been. The only time I've left England for anywhere in the UK other than England, I think I was in Wales when I was about 2. I'm really uncultured.
I love Wales. I did 2 trips to Wales last year. I hired a van once, went around Wales. Awesome, man.
Is he? What was I going to say? Did you go to Wales on your tour?
No, we did Bristol, which is the nearest one that was supposed to kind of cover both. So
yeah. I suppose it's close enough. It's only a bridge.
Sort
of a bridge across.
Yeah. So I went to Snowdonia last year, man, and what a place, man. North Wales. We did South Wales as well earlier in the year, but yeah, loving Wales, man.
Again, I couldn't tell you. I'm kind of Birmingham, south of England, and then weirdly I've been to China, but I've never been to Scotland. Like somehow, I don't know how that's happened, but
where did you go in China?
I went to Beijing, and this is how this was a school trip. That's how posh my school was. Went to Beijing and then to Xi'an, which is where the Terracotta Army is, which was a little. I'll be honest, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe I'm really uncultured. I don't know. Like I remember looking at it thinking like this is going to be, and yeah, it was cool. But it's all one thing. You know, if you walk around a museum or something, there's loads of different things. Whereas this was just one huge room, which is quite awe-inspiring, and then you're like, oh, I've kind of seen, like, you walk around and they're all kind of, they do, they all replica like army, so, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to recommend it. I'm sorry to China's tourism agency, but
we toured China a couple of years ago, and it was
nice.
We just got no sleep.
Whereabouts did you go in China?
There's like 8 cities, man. I'm not gonna try and pronounce them all because I don't want to butcher them, but we did like 8 cities and just no sleep, man, because we had to get up at like 4 a.m. to travel 6 hours on a train or flight, whatever, to get to the next place. But we managed to get in a few tourist things, did the wall, did the panda sanctuary.
I say the wall's good as if we were on the same spot. Like,
did you go to the wall?
Yeah. I mean, like, again, probably whether we were at the same spot, that would be a massive coincidence.
Did you do the slide thing?
Oh, the toboggan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, again, there's probably about 12, but
I had no idea about that before we went, because you get the chairlifts up and then the toboggan slide thing down. That was awesome. As a highlight for me.
Not the tour, just the toboggan.
The shows were awesome, man. But,
I'm cultured enough that I had noodles on toast for breakfast. That's the kind of
nice.
That's the level of Brit that I took to Beijing.
Nice. Yeah, we tried the hot pot thing in the first night. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, do you have any good stories from? I didn't realize you'd been to China on the tour.
Yeah, we did Japan, four shows in Japan, and then went straight to China on the way home. And yeah, honestly, it was a blur, man, because it was just I don't really remember sleeping. I remember being so tired that I wanted to cry. It was just mental, but the shows are really good. It was just mental to think people that far away know who we are and like our music, and the shows were like busy as well, which we didn't expect because it was our first time there. But yeah, dying to go back.
One of my friends' bands absolutely blew up in South Korea. I don't know what. I don't know what it was. Apparently, it was some influencer. Like, they're not a big band here. They've broken up now, but like they would play to maybe like hometown show. They might sell out maybe to like 100, 150 people, like in a small venue, and they were playing to like hundreds of people in South Korea. I think like some influencer shared there. I don't know if it's sort of but then they just they suddenly became unpopular, like out of nowhere. Like, they became really popular, and then I think they just sort of fell into obscurity out of nowhere. Like, I don't quite know how that happened. Did you find when you played the shows, were they metal fans or were they like your fans that turn up to the shows?
Bit of both, man. I think a lot of people were curious, just the fact there's like a band for Scotland playing, but there was a lot of like actual fans as well. And I think there's a lot of I can't remember the name of the app. It's like WhatsApp, but it's different. I can't remember. I think it's
yeah, I know what you.
Yeah, there's like loads of groups in that about Bleaching Within. I think that's how people get the word out that we're playing and stuff. But yeah, it was weird to see that many people at our first time there, because I thought we'd have to go there at least a couple of times to kind of gather a fan base. But yeah,
I like how you said you went to Japan and then you stopped at China on the way home.
Yeah, because it was never planned.
That's any closer, really.
We only were going to do the Japan tour, and then the Chinese promoter got in contact like way after we booked the Japan tour, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. We're nearby,
Yeah. I love how nearby, like the equivalent you still have to go from here, it'd still be to like Eastern Europe, but it would still be like distance wise. What was I going to say? Oh, how did the accent go down in? Because obviously, I suppose they're used to like American accents in.
Yeah, I mean,
or like English accents.
English people struggle to understand us at the best of times. So yeah, the language barrier was difficult because there's understanding English and then there's understanding Scottish. It's a different beast altogether. So we had to speak proper, slowly, and even put on an English or American accent sometimes. But I have to do that in England sometimes. So.
Do you ever put on an English accent?
Especially when it's like automated phone call stuff, and you have to like say numbers or something. You have to say it in an English accent. It's just not going to understand me.
If you what was I going to say? Have you ever been spotted anywhere obscure? Like, oh, I know your band.
Yeah, I was in Barcelona and
cool.
Just on holiday, and discovered this like street festival, and it was like. Like salsa dancing going on or something. I had no idea how to salsa dance. I was just like drunk and pretending I knew how to salsa dance. And then this girl was like, "You're in Bleach Within, right?" I was like, "Oh no, I've just been making a arsing myself drunk trying to salsa dance in this.
Oh, I thought you said, "Oh no,"
band
as in, "No, I'm not." Like, I can't be doing this.
I had to admit to it and be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry for my dancing, but please don't tell anyone."
Where are your kind of favorite places to go to?
On holiday or on tour?
Yeah, or just go. Well, both. Let's keep it somewhat relevant. Go with both.
I love Germany.
I've never been.
Oh mate, it's incredible. Like that's probably our biggest sort of market outside the UK. We always go down really well in Germany, and I'm actually learning German at the moment. I've been learning for a year.
Any reason? Is it more that you just want to? Are you interested in it, or is it like
I think like because we go there quite a lot, not even just Germany, just like German-speaking countries like Austria and Switzerland is like Swiss German, but it's pretty similar. So I think it'll be coming pretty handy for touring and just in general.
Yeah,
I already know a bit from school, but I'm still awful at it, but we'll get there.
My knowledge of I've been to Vienna. That's the closest I've been to Germany and Austria.
Nice.
That was about the nicest city I think I've been to, possibly.
We've played Vienna like 8 or 9 times, and I have never seen the city because
Really?
the two main venues are like way outside the city, and we just never had time to travel in and see the city.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I've been there so many times and never actually seen the city, and I just hear how amazing it is, but I've never actually seen it.
That's crazy. I was so we stopped there for like 2 days on one of those Interrail things, and I was so hungover by I basically didn't see Vienna, like because we went to Budapest and then to Vienna, and obviously Budapest was a bit messy. So like turned up to Vienna. I think I slept most of the first day. And I said to all my mates like, "Oh, can we go to the Hard Rock Cafe?" And they're not really into any of that stuff. So like, I can't be arsed. And then one morning I'm hungover. They go and get breakfast. And I'm like, well, but yeah, no, it's a wicked place. So what about like just holiday, general life? Where
I'm actually going to Budapest next month.
Wicked. Have you been before?
Yeah, we've played there a couple of times. I've been on holiday, but I'm going to see Hans Zimmer.
Oh, wicked!
Yeah, because I'm going to be in Canada next month when he's playing in the UK, so I'm going to miss the UK date. So
yeah,
thought I'll go and see him in Budapest. Why not?
That's wicked. Do you go on? I'm going to try and keep this relevant in places. Do you find him as any sort of inspiration in terms of writing at all, or is it literally just love the music?
It definitely inspired me a bit. Maybe not directly, but there is a part in the new album that was inspired by a Hans Zimmer thing from his last DVD. I won't say what it is. You'll try and spot it when the album comes out. But yeah, I get lost in his music, man. Especially live. It's like incredible. I've seen him a couple of times before, man. It's just insane. Like I get emotional. And I don't get emotional over anything. But when I go to Hans Zimmer show, I get emotional.
It's hard not to. I was chatting to your mate Simon Dobson.
Oh yeah.
I was chatting to him last week, nice. And he was saying we were talking about Hans Zimmer actually, and there's one scene at the end of Interstellar that really gets me. It's the one where it's a spoiler alert for anyone. If you've not seen it yet, it's your own fault. So when he sits down with his daughter, obviously his then elderly daughter, and if you listen to the way the music goes along with what he's saying, it's not just like the music. The music itself is enough to make you cry, but like the way the speech is linked to he'll ask a question and it will raise in pitch. It's so clever. Like obviously you don't have the opportunity to do that kind of stuff in just music. So
yeah, Interstellar soundtrack gets me every time, man.
Every time. Yeah,
that's a big one.
That docking scene when he's spinning around and he's that's get bleed from within. And I mean, if Cannibal Corpse can be in Ace Ventura, get yourself in find a movie opportunity somewhere, see what you can get yourself into.
Right. Huh? Easier said than done, but yeah, that'd be all right.
Well, yeah, you just got to have the right kind of fans. If you had any fans that are like, where you've been like, what, you're our fan? I'm your fan. Any of them?
Yeah, I can't recall anything, but I do remember having something like that recently. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, that has happened.
Yeah, because I just kind of I was wondering because when you're saying about Randy and sort of Lamb of God, I was like, when I'd say we've had it, but we've only had it kind of a couple of times. But it's a nice feeling when someone you look up to is like, "Oh, I love your music." Like, what? I love your music.
In fact, the As They Dying guys are like pretty good mates with them. We toured with them, and like Nick from As They Dying, he's like a good friend of ours now, and he posts about us online all the time and stuff about how like one of his favorite modern metal bands. I'm like, that's crazy, man, because As They Dying was like such a big part of my like guitar playing and just loving music when I was growing up, and it's so much part of our sound, I think. And like, he's a fan of our band. It's pretty wild. But
I noticed because you got Matt Heafy on your, or Matt Heafy, it's meant to be pronounced, isn't it? Apparently.
is it?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I've heard him say. Apparently, it's Heafy. I think I've heard him say Heafy. So if I ever chat to him, I'm going to make sure to get that right. But he followed us the other day. Like, yes, that's a win.
Nice.
He's on your one of your. Is it Night Crossing? He's on.
Yeah, he does a solo in Night Crossing. Yeah.
And it's not you. It's Steve that does the solo, right? Does he play that?
We split it into, like, I do the easy part at the start, and then Stephen does the hard part.
And whose decision was that?
Mine, because I was like, I'm not playing that. I can't be fucked learning how to play that. So.
Was that like a starstruck moment, or was that less so? Just so that was just like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, we got to meet Trivium. It was like during summer. We had like a off day between festivals, and they were playing a headline show, and they're like, "Oh, come along and hang out." So we got to hang out with them for a bit, and that was cool. I think that was before the guest solo thing came about, and then it was after that we kind of got in contact and like, "Do you want to do a wee solo maybe?" And he was well up for it. So he's quite big on supporting sort of younger bands and stuff. So that's really cool.
I've seen he's always sharing like Malevolence, and because he was filming himself doing some guest stuff for them, wasn't he? And then
I think they're touring with him this year.
Yeah. Well, it got pushed back like a year or so because the way the world is. What was I going to say? Fit for an Autopsy. Have you heard their new album?
No, but it is on the list. I've heard a couple of the new songs. It's on the list of albums to listen to. But
it's wicked. It's probably, again, it's that that kind of complexity and simplicity, balancing them. But I feel like it's just done so well. You know, we talk about Four on the Floor. Like, there's plenty of that. Like, but in all the right places. You know, those grooves where you're not kind of, that you could do any sort of number of overcomplicated things, but it just sits there. I think Will Putney, like, I sort of newfound admiration for him.
I was actually just watching a thing on YouTube before I came on here. It's like Will Putney's favorite breakdowns.
Oh,
it's quite interesting. He knows his stuff, man. He knows his musical history, his history of metal. So
what kind of stuff did he? What did he list?
It was like Sepultura, Pantera, Metallica, Slayer.
What would you put down? Like top 3 breakdowns.
Domination, Pantera. That's
the live one as well.
Oh yeah, the live one, man. It's just
when they slow down.
Yeah, they don't even play the whole song in the live one.
Do they not? I thought they still. I think they still do the.
It's
outro.
Hollow. They do the thing from Hollow after it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, definitely that. I don't know, man.
I like the one in 5 Minutes Alone.
What's the breakdown of that again? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's my number 2. You just.
Okay, someone that's not Pantera, you know.
Decapitated. I can't actually remember the name of the song.
I don't actually know much.
I think it's called Impulse. The breakdown is like. I think it's called Impulse. Yeah, I think that breakdown influenced a lot of more.
I was going to say that made me think of Afterlife. You're.
Yeah, that sort of really fast sort of breakdown style. That's definitely influenced from Vogue.
Do you practice much of the, because you have to be really tight for that stuff, for the, the kind of gallop stuff. Do you sit there and practice that, or is it just something you find naturally, just kind of?
Yeah, I think we all have to be super tight with stuff like that. Again, as long as Ali's tight, then the rest of us,
you can kind of go away,
fall into place. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the moving in between the single string stuff. When it's all on the one string, it's a bit easier, but like the End of All We Know breakdown, it's like on different strings. It's
yeah. So like going on to a slightly different sort of topic, with you do a lot of like creative kind of video work, right? Is that your full-time kind of thing?
Yeah, that's my job. Yeah, me, Scott, and Davey all do the same thing. We all make kind of motion graphics and animated music videos, lyric videos. That's their main sort of thing.
What came first, the business or the band?
The band. I started doing this because we couldn't afford to pay people to do it for us in the beginning, so I just learned how to do it, and then like passed the skills on to Scott and Davey, and now we do it for a living. And it's pretty wild how it worked out, this little band business. But
are you like,
because we can work and be on tour, and
do you have to catch up on work on the tour, or do you let that?
Oh yeah, man, we are constantly working, but it actually passes the drives. If you've got like long drives, like 5-hour drives, you can just sit and work and do a full day's work in the van or whatever.
So the other two are just sitting there, bored as fuck, and you're busy.
No, we're all so busy, man.
I know, I'm sure. Yeah. Are you like a? Would you say you're a creative? Like, do you have a creative kind of inclination, or is it just sort of almost like you said by necessity that came about?
I'm definitely very lucky to have a job that I can be creative and a band that I can be creative in. So I definitely love my job, man. I definitely enjoy it, and I get to be creative every day, and every day's different, every project's different. So it's quite an interesting job.
Is that something? Can that be stressful at times? I would imagine. I know relying on because obviously you can rely on turning up to work 9 to 5 every day and doing what someone tells you. There's no, I don't say there's no stress there, but like if you turn up and you do what you're told, you'll get the job done and you can go home and it's fine. Whereas obviously being creative, there's that level of your brain's got to be in the right place all the time to do that. Is that like a stressful? I mean, band and work now, I guess. Is that something you have to kind of deal with, or do you find that just naturally kind of flows for you?
Everything is kind of happening at the same time, so I'll be working for a few hours, then I'll have to stop and do some band stuff, and then pick work back up. And it's more the sort of managing my time and managing everyone else's time that I find difficult. Like, I just want to make videos, whereas it's not as easy as that. You need the accounts and you need to make sure your work's all like in your calendar on the right days and stuff. That's the stuff I'm bad at, like managing myself pretty much. But maybe that's my next step. I need to get a manager or like a receptionist or something.
So how many people is it? Just the three of you in the company together?
Yeah. But we all work separately. We don't like work in an office together. Me and Scott used to work in an office together, but during lockdown, we all just started working from home. So but we all do the same thing, but separately. We help each other out and stuff. So.
Yeah. Did you? I was looking at your sort of your Instagram highlights. Did you do some work for the Dirt?
Right? They re-released Kickstart My Heart.
That's wicked.
When they released the Dirt, and did the video for that. I've done a couple of stuff for Motley Crue for like the 30th anniversary.
Nice.
Girls, and Wild Side. Is that a song? Yeah.
I'm not a huge. I like Motley Crue. There's a moment in it is in Kickstart My Heart. You know that middle section where they go all soft for like 30 seconds, and I'm kind of a bit like, what are you doing? Like, I get the rest of the song. There's just something about that section. And he's talking about kicking ass.
There's an Easter egg in that lyric video. Davey P, our bass player, is actually in that video. I managed to get his face in it at one point. I won't tell you when, but
what, in the Kickstart My Heart, like the one that you've worked on?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. I want to know where it is now. Because I'm not going to see it. I'm going to watch the whole thing and not see him now.
When can you miss it? But he is there.
Okay, nice. Well, so you actually filmed the video, or did you just edit him in?
No, they sent me a bunch of like live footage, and I made a video out of the live footage. So, and then I managed to fit Davey in somewhere.
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of piece of work you've done for the on the video side of things? The Bring Me thing was really cool.
Yeah, more recently the Bring Me thing. Like, I was actually on holiday in Wales and got a phone call for Jordan, being like, "Can you like come and join the tour like right now?" Because the tour starts in 2 days and we need visuals, because they had to like add in a bunch of screens last minute. They didn't have any content, so I went and like joined the Bring Me Horizon tour at a day's notice, like after my last day of holiday. So that was like pretty stressful, just turning up and being on tour for 3 days when I wasn't prepared, and just working day and night trying to get it done in time. But it all worked out, man, and yeah, it looked pretty mad.
How did you do that box thing? You know, the one that sort of the geometric box that sort of looks like a big spinning kind of.
Yeah, so there was like
do
screens in front of the band which are kind of see-through, but you can put stuff on them, and then there's screens behind and on the side. So it took a bit of working out with some help from Jordan, like try to work out the perspective and how it would work. But you basically have a box in the front of the screen, a box flipped on the back screen, and when it's spinning, it looks 3D. Yeah, that took a whole day or 2 days to get that right.
So is it kind of your side of things? You're involved in all the branding and stuff for the band. Is that your kind of side of things?
Mostly the kind of anything that's moving. I don't do really design, but people give me designs and I animate it.
he does the art, right?
David does the artwork. Yeah,
that's wicked. Are there ever moments between all of you? Because obviously, it sounds like you're all quite self-sufficient. Are there ever moments where you have to quietly, one person says to the other, like, "Oh, I don't ever like that though."
Yeah, you definitely do have those moments, and it's hard when it's your best friends. But again, it's kind of easier when it's your best friends as well, because you know you're not going to upset people. But there's always that sort of thing in the back of your mind. You don't want to upset people, but yeah, we're all brutally honest with each other. So
it's better that than the sort of the absolute reverse way. You just pretend to like it, and then 3 years down the line, I never like that fucking artwork anyway.
Yeah, we all know it's not personal when people say stuff like that. So
no, so now, because now you're on it's Nuclear Blast, right? Do they have any sort of say in this kind of thing, or is it still very much down to you how you go about your business?
Not really, man. We've never really experienced a label being like, you have to do this. We've never ever came across that. Like, any label we've worked with has been pretty chilled and just let us do their own thing and have faith in us, which is cool, man. Like a lot of reasons why we sign with these labels, because they give you the freedom to just do whatever you want, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, that's wicked. Is it changed? So it hasn't really changed your way of doing stuff. You just like.
Not really, no. I think Nuclear Blast is such a big name, and like we all know metal bands in Nuclear Blast, and the sort of the company that we're in now, and this like the other bands that are on this label are just some of the biggest metal bands in the world, and it's such an honor to like be in amongst that. And so we definitely felt the pressure though, because signing Nuclear Blast, you have to level up and be on the level as like bands like Lamb of God, and it's just it's definitely feeling the pressure.
Yeah. Alluvial and Nuclear Blast as well, aren't they?
Yeah, that album is probably my favorite album of last year.
I bumped into Ali after your Birmingham gig, and I was saying, like, between yours and that Alluvial album. So there you go. There's my piece of flattery for you. I think those two. I know it's not the last year. I realized I said that to him. I was like, hey, that was a while ago. But COVID, it's all about a year roughly, isn't it? Something like that. It's just
we deleted a year. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those two for me were like way up there. But go on. I won't take too much of your time. But quickly before two things. So one, I was going to say, what's in terms of the next few years? Have you got any like? So obviously there'll be plans you won't want to kind of reveal, but in terms of here's the dream plan for the next 5 years, have you got anything where you're like, I really want to get that done? I'd really love to play with that band that you think might happen.
Just want to tour the world, man, to be honest. Like, hopefully travel opens up and we're allowed to go places we've never been. Like, we've never been to the States. That's definitely
So you've been to Japan and China and not the States?
Yep. That's definitely been high up on our list for a long time, and love to tour more of Asia, because we only did Japan and China is quite a small area. Asia, when you look at it on a map, we want to do more. In Australia, New Zealand, we've never been to those places. So yeah, tour the world, and I don't know, tour with Slipknot, Metallica. That would be nice. But every metal band wants to do that, so there's a lot of competition.
Well, considering Slipknot toured with Metallica in, I think, Australia, I think, given even Slipknot want to tour with Metallica, it's
who doesn't?
Yeah, wicked. Doesn't? So do you want to, is there anything you want to sort of plug or say to the world,
I wish I could say more about the album, but just keep your eyes on the Bleach Within page in the next few weeks.
I suppose, it depends when exactly. I'm still sorting out the release schedule, but depends when this comes out. But maybe that's what I should do. I say, this won't be out for 3 months. Going to tell me everything, and then just put it out next week. Like, there you go. Yes. Yeah, cool, wicked. Well, thank you for that, man.
Thank you, mate.
Hope you enjoy your weekend. No, it's good fun. It's fun chatting. So yeah, enjoy your weekend, and hopefully, whenever you're next in Birmingham, I won't ask you to, or Bristol. I won't ask you to reveal when, but whenever that might be, I shall be there. So
cool,
wicked.
Get a pint.
Cool. Yes, absolutely. Or if you, wicked. Bring some of your Overtone beer.
Yes.
To
if there's any left.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I'll leave it at that. And
cool.
Thank
you, mate.
Soon.
Cheers.
Wicked. Bye.